Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm reviewing a pen from Endless. This was released a few months ago and it is this pen. This is the Endless Captiva. So it's what they describe as a torque filler. Torque filler, as I said, it came out a few months ago. Endless have been doing some really interesting things and collaborating with interesting brands, all those kinds of things, and this is their latest addition to their lineup. This pen was provided to me for review by Pulp Addiction here in Australia. So if you are in Australia and want to get your hands on one of these pens, I will link to their website down below. So I'm going to talk about the parts and features, do a writing sample, all that kind of stuff. So this pen comes packaged really simply, as a lot of the Endless stuff does. Elegant and simple, nothing fancy. It is a simple plastic pen, or as they say, it is a gorgeous luxury resin, which I think is a bit of a stretch, but that's okay. It comes in three colors. This is the deep ocean and chrome, so this is the very lovely rich dark blue color. It also comes in infinite space and chrome, which is black and chrome, and then the stealth black, and that is, as you would expect, all black with a black nib and black trim and everything. So as you can see, this has the chrome trim, so yeah, we'll start at the top of the pen. So at the top we get a simple chrome disc there in the top of the cap. You get this beveled edges of the cap there, which reminds me of some of those Franklin Christoph pens. The cap continues along and the clip is in cut and it's stiff but very, very usable. It continues along, little step down onto the barrel, which continues along. We get a little ink window in there. And then that continues around to the end, and we get this interesting cut-in chrome, basically piston knob, but it works on a standard Schmidt K5 converter. Now, the cap unscrews in about 2 1/4 turns. It posts very nicely and very securely, so there's no issues there at all. Little step down, tiny threads, nice and comfortable, and then a tapered section, and then a steel number 6 size nib with the Endless logo on it there, and some nice sort of design work, and then a simple plastic bead. Now, the interesting thing about this pen, or the thing that they say is the most interesting thing, is that the filling system, this torque filler, which they say has the sophistication of a piston filler with the convenience of a converter. Basically, I'll unscrew it to show you. So you can unscrew the barrel here, and it screws down very nice and securely. And as you can see there, it reveals a Schmidt K5 converter with this add-on here of this metal knob that sits as a little post there that sits into the end of the barrel, and you are able to operate it without having to take this off. Now I can't show it obviously because it's filled with ink, but basically when that's screwed on, you can turn that knob there and it activates the piston. It's a standard K5, as I said, converter in there. It's a nice simple system, but it's really a captive converter that you don't have a blind cap for. So that's basically how it works. So yes, you turn, you can see there, it's on both sides. So you turn that to activate the piston within the converter. And the ink window serves very nicely to show you how much ink you have, and you can also see the piston running up and down. So you don't necessarily need to take that body off. I found when I filled it, to make sure I got a decent fill, I did take the barrel off just to make sure anyway. But that is the basics of the pen. As you can see, it's not a huge pen. It's a decent size, but it's a very comfortable pen, quite lightweight. The plastic, this, as they say, the gorgeous luxury resin is plastic. And it's okay, but it's plastic. They also say this is a gorgeous ink window, so they clearly like the description of gorgeous in their media writing. But yes, that's the basics of the pen. Let's now do a quick size comparison. So here is the Endless Captiva fountain pen alongside a standard Lamy Safari. You see that when they're capped, they're pretty much the same length and girth. Uncapped, you can see they're once again the same sort of size. They both have a ink window, and yes, not a dissimilar sort of size pen. And then posted, the Lamy Safari is a little longer, but I think the way that the Endless Captiva here posts, it's very, very secure. So what are the dimensions of the Endless Captiva Torque Filler Fountain Pen? Well, it is 140 millimeters when it is capped. It's 124 when it is uncapped. So, you know, it's a decent sort of size, not too small, and it's 160 when it's posted. It's a nice size, it's not too long in the hand, and the cap posts beyond the webbing of your hand, so it's quite comfortable, nothing rough, and because it is lightweight, it stays fairly well balanced. It's around 10 millimeters around the middle of the section, and 14 around the cap, so it's a fairly decent sort of standard size pen. I will say though that the section with that taper does start to feel a little bit small in your hand, but you know, you don't feel like the pen is out of balance because it also is a lightweight pen. The entire pen only weighs 20 grams, so you're not putting a whole lot of weight on the end, so even if you're pinching down a little bit on that narrow section, it's not too bad. Now, in terms of ink capacity, it is a standard international converter, so you know, because the way this system is built, it's going to be hard pressed to be able to use cartridges in this, but as I said, it's that standard K5 style international converter. Okay, let's do a little writing here. Now I have Rhodia 80 GSM paper here today, and we have the Endless Captiva fountain pen. This is a medium nib. Now it comes in extra fine, medium, broad, broad stub, architect, and needle. Some of those more sort of like unusual nib sizes will cost a few dollars extra, but it's a nice range of steel nibs available. The ink I have in this today is Monteverde Blue Black. Really loving this ink at the moment. It's on the grey end of blue black, as opposed to like the quite dark navy blue of this deep ocean pen. But yes, it's very, very nice. So. It writes really quite well. There is a good amount of feedback on this nib, but it's wet enough. It's got sort of a nice flow. It's consistent. Just do some quick writing. No issues at all. I've had no issues with this pen in terms of ink starvation, hard starts, anything like that. It actually is a very, very nice writer. I can write with this posted or unposted equally comfortably. It's not, as I said, it's not super wet, but you can see wet enough. This is also a wetter ink. Reverse writing, very scratchy and sharp, but doable. Not a flex pen. Like, you can let a little bit more ink down, it becomes quite wet, but really that's not what it's designed for. So this is a nice sort of standard everyday writer. Is it a perfect pen? No. Is it a nice pen? Yes. In terms of the actual writing, it's consistent, it writes well, and I've had no issues with it. So what does the Endless Captiva cost? So this pen retails in Australia from Pulp Addiction for 110 Australian dollars, or you can get it for around the 60 US dollars from Endless. I think this puts it in a reasonable price point, but it does write very, very well. So what are the pros and cons? Well, I have a couple of cons here. Firstly, it is very plasticky. This gorgeous luxury resin, I think, is a bit of a stretch. It is very plasticky. It's very lightweight. It feels plasticky in the hand. I know that's a weird thing to say. Lots of pens are made of plastic, but if you know the difference between like the high quality resins and plastics versus some cheaper ones, you will know the feeling in the hand. Also, I think this section is just a little, like it tapers quite a lot, and then it feels quite narrow for some reason. It's not super narrow, like it's around 9 to 10 millimeters, but it just feels a little bit narrow. And the other issue I have is that I cross thread, like it's just done it there, like these capping threads a lot. You know, it's easy to fix if you cross thread. I just did it the first before, but will it happen again? Probably not, because it's the on camera. But like if you cross thread, if you don't quite get the threads right, it's very easy just to rewind it and put it back through. That's fine, but I have found a lot of cross threading on these threads. Okay, but there are lots of pros. I think the price point is okay. It is a little expensive, but it is a smaller retailer just starting out doing some pens. They've done a lot of notebooks and things like that, and I really do applaud them. Really do applaud Endless for the innovation they bring, and that they're trying things constantly. They're trying to add new things to their lineup, and they're doing a great job. I actually really enjoy what they do. I think it's got a nice enough nib. It does write very well and very consistently, so that's a big plus. I like the concept. I think this filling system, so you dip it in the bottle of ink and you can just turn this knob on the end and it runs the piston up and down like a piston filler. It's nice. It's kind of is it a new system? It's a version of a new system, I suppose, but really it's just a converter with a blind cap. Captiva captive converter, that's what they're basically going for, but it does work well and I've had no issues with it. I like the ink window. I like all pens with ink windows. I like to be able to see how much ink I have, and this is following along, as I said, from like that Lamy sort of style, and it works very well. So yeah, I have no problems with this pen. It writes well, it does a decent job, it's consistent. It may not be the most robust plastic, and I've not yet had a problem with this, but you have to understand that the converter mechanism is right here on the end. So just be careful about, how you're handling it and how you fidget with things. I'm a fidgeter, so like, am I gonna fidget with it? Like I do like I actually should have said, I really do like how that logo is in there. I think it's quite nice. So I hope you found this video about the Endless Captiva fountain pen to be interesting and useful. Please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button, all that kind of stuff. It all helps me to be able to make content for you. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, or if there's a way you'd like to support the channel, I would really love to hear from you. A big thank you to Pole Prediction for providing this pen for review, and for their continued support over the years of my channel. I've been able to make some really great content because of them. In the meantime, enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.